The scene in front of them stunned everyone, especially Zhou Xiang, whose mouth was wide open and his eyes almost fell out of their sockets.
In the vast space, a group of alchemists sat on futons obediently, listening attentively to Yunxiao's speech. All kinds of materials and utensils were thrown around, and there was no other sound in the hall except for Yunxiao's voice. This buy-in. Zhou Xiang was completely petrified. Were they still the alchemists who had a bad temper, a bad attitude, and were difficult to please? Why are they all acting like primary school students? Yunxiao saw them come in at first glance. He stood up with a smile and said,
"Let's stop here. Everyone, take a good time to digest. Young Master Hailin and Captain Zhou Xiang are here."
Voila. All the alchemists rose to their feet, turned around, and glared at Zhou Xiang and the others. Their eyes were spitting fire, and they were all furious. Zhou Xiang and the rest felt an overwhelming fury coming at them for no reason. It was as if the air around them was about to burn. A white-haired old man rushed forward. It was Feng Rui. He pointed at the group with a trembling finger and shouted,
You guys dare to interrupt young Master Yun's teaching? You all deserve to die. Is this how you rookie mercenaries treat alchemists? The bottleneck that has troubled me for more than 10 years has suddenly been broken. You actually dare to ruin such a sacred matter. This is too infuriating. It's as if I can see the door to the art of Tao opening for me. It's all because of you. An alchemist was so angry that his hair stood on end. The rookie mercenary group is indeed respectful to us alchemists. The contract I signed with you is about to expire, so I can't stay any longer. Right. My contract is also about to expire and I'm also leaving the rookie mercenary group. I've been refining pills and weapons for you all day, and you even interrupted our classes. That's right, let's go. Those whose contracts have expired, follow young Master Yun. We didn't want to stay in this damn place for a long time. I'll go wherever young Master Yun goes. Me too. Me too.
For a moment, all the alchemists were extremely angry, and they made their stand clear, demanding to leave the rookie mercenary group and follow Yunxiao. The reaction was so intense that Hailin and the others were all shocked and broke out in cold sweat. What a joke. If all the alchemists left, the strength of the whole rookie mercenary group would be reduced by at least half. They were the strongest logistical support. No matter what, a force could only dominate a region with a group of alchemists supporting it. Zhou Xiang was also instantly dumbfounded, and his mind went blank. If this group of alchemists were to leave, the consequences would be so dire that he dared not even think about it.
Masters, please don't be impulsive. Impulsiveness is the devil.
Zhou Xiang hurried forward to comfort the volcanoes, but it was to no avail. The alchemists' eyes were fixed on him, as if he had killed their father, and they wanted to kill him with their eyes.
Devil? How dare you interrupt young Master Yun's lesson? You're the real devils. Get lost.
Hailin hurriedly turned his eyes to Yunxiao for help. If these alchemists really left, not to mention Zhou Xiang, even he would probably be skinned alive. You're leaving the rookie mercenary group, Yunxiao said.
Where are you going?
He sat on the upper seat, crossed his legs, and said coldly.
By the way, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Li Yunxiao, and I'm now officially the captain of the 8th team of the rookie mercenary group.
As soon as he said that, the entire hall fell silent. Young Master Yun is the captain of the 8th team? All the alchemists were shocked on the spot, and the shock on their faces turned into ecstasy. They were so excited that their ears turned red, and they could not control themselves. Yunxiao gave the crowd an indifferent look and said,
I heard that you guys are usually very arrogant and domineering, and very difficult to manage. Vice Captain Zhou Xiang is wailing about leaving.
No, there's no such thing.
The alchemists were all anxious, and Feng Rui hurriedly argued.
We're all approachable, affable, gentle, and polite people. We'll never put on the airs of alchemists.
Isn't that right, Vice Captain Zhou?
He turned to look at Zhou Xiang, his eyes as big as copper bells, and he glared at him fiercely. Zhou Xiang's mind went blank. The great contrast between the performance of these alchemists made him feel an indescribable desolation. With a sorrowful look on his face, he sobbed.
All the masters are humble gentlemen, gentlemanly, gentle, kind, understanding, gentlemanly, warm as jade, woo 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 woo.
At the end of her sentence, she could no longer hold back her grievances and squatted on the ground, crying her heart out.
Yes, yes, yes. We are all polite and mild-tempered people.
All the alchemists said hurriedly. We will obey Master Yunxiao's orders in the future. Both Hailin and Zhu Lei's faces turned pale. They looked at the group of alchemists, who usually held their heads high and had their noses up in the air, bowing and bowing before Yunxiao while making solemn promises. They felt that this was extremely unreal, as if they were in a fantasy. Zhu Lei swallowed his saliva and said dryly.
Master Yunxiao is good at mental attacks. Are we seeing illusions?
Hailin also patted his forehead, feeling a sharp pain. Looking at Zhou Xiang, who was squatting on the ground and crying sadly, she felt that it did not seem fake. But, Yunxiao said with a frown.
It seems that the contracts of all the masters are about to expire. I really don't know if the newbie mercenary group will sign a new contract with you. Let's ask young Master Hailin.
The alchemists of major forces generally employed a hiring system, providing a large number of materials for the alchemists' cultivation, so that they could stay and make the pills for themselves. Only a few alchemists would really join a force, which was equivalent to completely restricting themselves. After all, the final destination in the mind of all alchemists was the Holy Land of Alchemy, the Sea of Soul Formation.
A contract?
An alchemist hurriedly ran to Hailin and pleaded.
Young Master Hailin, please let me renew the contract with the newbie mercenary group. The contract has to be renewed for at least 50 years. And me? How can 50 years be enough? I want to extend my contract for 100 years. 100 years? You're over 100 years old. I'm going to sign a lifelong contract and stay in a rookie mercenary group for the rest of my life. I want a life contract too. However, it must be written in the contract that Master Yunxiao must be in the rookie mercenary group. If Master Yunxiao leaves, I'll leave too. Yes, 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 Grandmaster Yunxiao, we're here. If Master Yunxiao leaves, we'll leave.
Hailin was instantly dumbfounded. He recalled how his father had begged these alchemists to stay and offered all kinds of heaven-defying conditions. He had to obey their wishes and go along with their hobbies before he could sign many 5-year contracts. But now, they were all crying and asking to sign a lifetime contract. The contrast was huge. What shocked him even more was that even though they had signed a lifelong contract, it was not the rookie mercenary group that bound them, but Yunxiao. If Yunxiao left, the consequences would be dire. For a moment, he felt a headache coming on. He was drowned by the cries and shouts for a lifetime contract. He felt that he couldn't cope with such a scene at all, so he hurriedly shouted.
Hurry, hurry, Commander Zhua, bring all the master's contracts here and call my father here. Who's making so much noise in my teammate? You can't have peace.
Suddenly, a roar came from the back of the hall. A white-haired old man rushed out with an angry face. He looked around and shouted.
What are you all doing? All of you have tears on your faces. Did someone bully you? I heard that someone wants to sign a lifelong contract. Are you guys stupid?
The old man's eyes widened as he glared at the crowd. However, he realized that everyone's faces were indifferent and determined, not moved by his words.
Master Lu. This is the new captain of Team 8. We've decided to follow him. Fang Rui quickly stepped forward. If the brigade leader wants us to stay, we'll stay. If the brigade leader leaves, we'll leave. Oh. The old man looked at him suspiciously and snorted, a bunch of spineless guys. Who can make you sell your freedom and sign a lifelong contract? I'd like to see if the new captain is God Fang.
He pushed the crowd aside and looked up at the top of the hall. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. This Master Lu was the leader of all alchemists. He was also a peak 5th-tier alchemist, and he had a very bad temper. If he had a conflict with Master Yunxiao and offended him, he would. Just as everyone's hearts were filled with apprehension and wild guesses. Master Lu's eyes were wide open. When he saw Yunxiao's mouth open, he suddenly pounced on him and cried out.
Master, Master! I finally get to see you again.
He half knelt in front of Yunxiao like a child and cried.
Master, please accept my knees. I, Lu Sun, will follow you from now on. Master, please don't abandon me.
He kept scratching Yunxiao's legs with both hands. Yunxiao's hair stood on end, and he hurriedly kicked him away as he said angrily.
Stay away from me. I'm not interested in men. If you want to follow me, you'll have to ask the newbie mercenary group first.
The old man was Lu Sun, whom he had met earlier. After receiving Yunxiao's enlightenment, he had buried himself in the refining, and as expected, he succeeded very soon. This time, the refining process was more successful than he had expected, allowing him to instantly release the bottleneck that had been stuck for a long time, almost directly advancing to the 6th step. Rookie mercenary group? Lu Sun was taken aback. He hurriedly stood up and ran towards the sea forest, shouting.
Young Master Hailin, quickly bring me my contract. I want to sign a lifetime agreement. If Master Yunxiao is here, I'll be here. If Master Yunxiao leaves, I'll leave.
Hailin had a headache. There was another one. Pa. Suddenly, a crisp sound of a slap rang out in the hall. Sheng drooped his head and kept slapping himself. He said bitterly.
Young Master Yun, you're my boss from now on. I'll do whatever you say, even if you want me to eat shit.
Pa. Pa. He kept on slapping, a total of 10 loud slaps, and both sides of his face turned red. In the beginning, he really could not bear to do it. After all, he was a martial royal realm expert, a powerful existence in any force. But when he saw the usually proud alchemists kneel down on the spot, he did not feel ashamed at all. The next few slaps became more and more enjoyable, and the embarrassment was completely gone. Instead, he felt that it was a great pride and happiness to be able to follow Yunxiao. At least, he could follow Yunxiao whenever he wanted without having to sign any contract. And these high and mighty alchemists had to sign a lifelong contract to be qualified to follow him. Thinking of this, he became prouder the more he slapped her. The last few slaps were even more vigorous, and both sides of his face were swollen like buns.
Vice Captain, what are you doing?
Yunxiao's mouth was wide open in surprise as he asked in confusion.
Your way of expressing your loyalty is too strange. This young master has learned a lot.
Sheng touched his swollen face and shook his head.
I should. I'm especially insensible. I deserve to be beaten.
He sneaked a glance at Ding Ling with a pleading look in his eyes. Ding Ling smiled and understood what Sheng meant. After all, Sheng was a martial royal realm expert. He had already mustered up a lot of courage to slap her 10 times in front of everyone. It was impossible for him to kneel and crawl 3 rounds, so he begged her to stop. Looking at Ding Ling nodding her head, Sheng was relieved and happy. Although the more he was slapped, the prouder he would probably never be able to raise his head in the rookie mercenary group again. Zhu Lei rushed to the headquarters as fast as he could. All alchemists had to sign a lifelong contract, which was undoubtedly a big deal. Even Commander Hao Lian would be shocked by it.
Contract.
Zhu Lei rushed into the headquarters with all his might and barged into Hai Beifei's room without reporting. He panted and said.
Guild leader Hai, contract.
He flew too fast and used up all his yuan qi in one breath. He couldn't catch his breath. Hai Beifei looked unhappy and frowned.
You're panicking and not calm at all. Do you still look like a martial artist? This is the headquarters of the newbie mercenary group. Even if the sky falls, I will hold it up.
Zhu Lei shook his head and tried his best to take a deep breath, saying.
A contract for all alchemy masters. Cancel all the alchemy masters and the original contracts, and sign. Sign Wufu. What?
Hai Beifei let out a loud roar. The aura on his body suddenly spread out and an extremely strong force exploded. Zhu Lei's entire body was blown away by the force. Hai Beifei took a step forward. His figure appeared more than 10 meters away and caught Zhu Lei in his hand. His face was terrifyingly gloomy as he said in a cold voice, "Did Li Yunxiao cause trouble? All the alchemy masters are going to terminate their contracts?" Zhu Lei's qi and blood were not flowing smoothly to begin with. Under the impact of his qi, a mouthful of blood gushed out and was stuck in his throat. He tried his best to explain, but the moment he opened his mouth, a gush of qi and blood rushed up to his throat. Zhu Lei's heart grew anxious. He desperately shook his head, and desperately nodded again. He shook and nodded, and the more anxious he became, the more chaotic he became. He opened his mouth and moved a few times, and the smell of blood spurted out.
Damn it!
Hai Beifei immediately threw Zhu Lei out and roared.
Team 8 is the foundation of our logistics. Li Yunxiao, if any of the masters leave, I'll definitely break your bones.
He turned into a beam of light and instantly headed to the west of the city, disappearing into the horizon in the blink of an eye. Hello everyone, you have come to my comic review channel. Like and subscribe to support me. Let's read the story together.